Hi there, welcome to Mini Math Lessons with Karen Greenhouse, and today we are doing some solving of systems, but we're going to be using matrices. So I'm going to walk through two different, similar but different math activities that use matrices, inverse, multiplication, those types of things. So I'm on Classpad.net. Again, if you don't have an account, create one, because then you can save all the work you do with these free activities. Save it in your own thing, change them, modify them, use them for whatever you need. So make sure you've created an account so you can save them. Links to the activities are in the description of the video below, or above, I guess it's below. So let me just get right into the first one. So the first one is a situation where two kids are trying to make their own business and they have 4 different tasks and they've got friends that are going to do each of those tasks. And for each task they do, they get paid a different amount. So you'll see that they get 4 cents for an envelope they address, 3 cents if they stuff the envelope, 11 cents if they actually go out and deliver it, and 12 cents for all the phone calls they make. So basically they are going to be doing a system. So there's 4 different variables, right? So there's, and I've got down here a table, and addressing, stuffing, delivering, and calling. So 4 different variables. And we want to figure out a couple things. So the first thing they're being asked is how much does each person get paid if this is how many total they did. So this is just simple multiplication. So we do need to know how to make a matrix, right? So we need a matrix that represents the amount that they did, each person did of the tasks, and then another matrix that represents the amount paid for each task, and then we're just going to multiply those 2 matrices together. So to enter a matrix in Classpad, you can define it. So we're going to use colon equals, and then if you go down to math, you'll see there's tabs, and so we want to go to the second one. You'll see here there's different matrices. Well, we need a 4x4, and that doesn't seem to be a template, but these 2 right here will allow me to add vertically and horizontally, right? So this one is going to go horizontal, this one's vertical. So if I click this first, what I get is a 2x1, and I need at least 2 more columns. So if I click it again, notice now I have 3, and then if I click again, I have 4. Well, now I need to go vertical, right? I need to increase the rows. So that's this template here. So if I click it once, I now have a 4x2. If I click again, and so there's my 4x4. And now I can fill in the numbers that I need. And remember, if you've been playing with Classpad, you can move these stickies around so that they're a little easier to do. So now all I'm going to do is basically transfer these numbers into the matrix positions, right? So all I'm doing is taking the table and entering the numbers into the matrix in the same position that they have in the table, basically, right? And this is simply how many of the tasks each one of them did, right? So Corey did 55 stuffing of envelopes, he delivered 45, and he called 50 people. So that's what these numbers represent in the context of this situation. So I filled out the matrix, and because we use the define, when I hit execute or enter, it basically just repeats it, and that all that's done is set this matrix. So anytime now, all I have to do is use A instead of typing it all over again. So now I can just work with A because the calculator, the software knows that this is the matrix we're working with. So now we have to define a variable, a matrix that represents how much each of the tasks was worth, and so that's the 4 cents, 3 cents, 11 cents, 12 cents. So this is going to be a 1x4. So we're going to go into math again, and we're going to choose this, and I need to add, so I just click it. Every time I need to add another row, I just click it. And so what was it? It was 0.04, 0.03, 0.11, and 0.12. So now we have 2 different matrices, and they represent, this represents how much of each task everyone did, and this represents what they get paid. Notice that my matrix turned it into decimal. I can just, into a fraction version, standard form. So I just switched it. And now I'm ready to actually do multiplication. I don't have to enter them again because the software knows this is always A and this is B. So now I can just do my multiplication. So I'm going to do A times B. Oops, that was my fault. I used an X instead of my multiplication property. Let's try that again. There we go. And here is my solution. And again, it's changed it to standard form. But so so this is how much each person got paid in the order that they are in the table. So Adam got paid $17.65 and Brittany was $23.60. So that's simple matrix operation right there. So that's sort of what they're doing. And then they have another question. So if that's how much each got paid, how much did each task cost the creators here, Tisha and Nicholas? And so then that's scalar multiplication and then summing. So that's where we're going with this. And so they're just going to be working with some matrix operations. When we get to the second activity, it's very similar, except this time we're going to be using inverses. So this is a tech company. Somebody's going out to order lunch. And they have 4 different days that they ordered lunch. And they basically want to know how much did each one of the sandwiches, main dishes, sides, drinks cost. So again, it's another matrix situation. You'll notice that there's this, in case students have kind of forgotten or never experienced, this is a quick little video in here that kind of walks through, set up your matrix, and then here's how you find the inverse. So once you have set your matrices, colon equals, you can find the inverse very easily simply by raising it to the -1 power, right, the inverse, and then use that to help you find your solution. So there's a little bit of hint of here what to do. So they're going to do the same thing, and the matrices are kind of already set up for them, and they're just going to fill in how it is and then work with the inverse matrix to find how much the 4 missing variables are. So the sandwiches, the main dishes, the sides, and the drinks. So same process here. We're setting up matrices that represent the coefficients. They actually have to create the equations first for each one where they have all the different variables in it, and then they're using the matrix to solve the system. So just an application of when you have lots of variables, a matrix is sometimes, matrices are probably an easier way to try to do it than to solve for the fall, using substitution, those types of things. So just another way to solve systems. So good luck, have fun.